The stars looked peaceful from the observation deck of the Defiant Hope. Commander Elena Vasquez stood with her coffee, watching the colony world of New Reykjavik spin slowly below. The agricultural domes glowed like little fireflies on the planet's surface. 3,000 people lived down there. Farmers mostly. Teachers. Engineers. Children playing in the parks under the climate-controlled habitats. Elena had grown up on a colony world just like this one. She remembered running through fields of earth wheat, adapted to grow under an alien sun. Her parents had been colonists too. They believed in humanity's dream of spreading peacefully among the stars. No wars. No empires. Just good people. Trying to build good lives far from Earth. The alarm started screaming. Elena's coffee cup shattered on the floor as the ship lurched. She grabbed the railing and ran toward the bridge. Her crew was already at their stations. Faces pale in the red emergency lighting. "Report!" Elena shouted. "Contacts!" her sensor officer called out. 50 warships just dropped out of faster-than-light travel. They're huge, Commander. Each one is 3 times our size. Elena's blood went cold. The Defiant Hope was a patrol vessel. It carried light weapons meant for pirates and smugglers. These ships on her screen looked like they could crack planets. "Are they responding to hails?" Elena asked. "No response to any channel," communications reported. "Wait, Commander, they're launching something." The view screen showed missiles. Hundreds of them. They weren't heading toward Elena's ship. They were heading down. Toward New Reykjavik. "No," Elena whispered. Then she shouted, "Get us between those missiles and the colony. Now." Her pilot was good. The Defiant Hope dove toward the planet, engines screaming. But they were one small ship. The missiles came from 50 directions at once. Elena watched helplessly as her ship's defensive guns knocked down 10 missiles. 20. 30. It wasn't enough. The first missile hit Agricultural Dome 7. The explosion was bright enough to hurt Elena's eyes. Then Dome 3 went up. Then the school habitat. Then the water processing center. In less than 5 minutes, every dome on New Reykjavik's surface was burning. 3,000 people. Gone. Elena felt tears on her face, but her voice stayed steady. "Get us out of here. Maximum speed. We need to survive long enough to tell Earth what happened." The alien warships didn't pursue immediately. They seemed content to watch the colony burn. Elena's ship jumped to faster-than-light speed. But not before her sensors recorded everything. The shape of the enemy ships, their weapons, their power signatures, and one transmission. It came through on all channels. A voice that sounded like rocks grinding together spoke in perfect English. "Humans, this is Admiral Kreshthar of the Zelvari Dominion. Your colony refused to surrender. This is the price of disobedience. We are the rulers of this galaxy. You are nothing. Insects pretending to be civilized." The transmission showed the alien. It looked like a massive scorpion standing upright, covered in black armor plating. Its multiple eyes glowed red in the darkness of its command bridge. "You have 10 of your solar rotations to surrender every human world to Zelvari authority," Kreshthar continued. "If you refuse, every colony will burn like this one. Your Earth will burn. Your species will serve us or die. This is your only warning." The transmission ended. Elena's hands shook on her command chair. Her crew sat in shocked silence. Finally, her second officer spoke quietly. "Commander, what do we do?" Elena looked at the faces around her bridge. Young faces. Good people. They were asking her for hope when she had none to give. Except she did have something. She had evidence. She had recordings. She had survived. "We run to Earth as fast as this ship can carry us," Elena said. "We tell them what happened here. We make sure those 3,000 people didn't die for nothing." The journey to Earth took 6 days at maximum faster-than-light speed. Elena didn't sleep. She kept watching the recordings, memorizing every detail of the alien ships. The Zelvari. She made herself learn that name. Made herself remember the way Kreshthar had smiled when he talked about burning worlds. When the Defiant Hope finally reached Earth's solar system, Elena transmitted everything to military command before her ship even docked. By the time she stepped off her vessel onto the orbital station, alarms were already sounding across every human world. Elena was rushed to an emergency meeting of Earth's Confederation Council. The leaders of all 12 colony worlds appeared as holograms around the council chamber. They'd all seen the recordings. Some were crying. Some were angry. All of them were afraid. "Can we fight them?" asked the delegate from New Mars. General Park, head of Earth's military forces, shook his head slowly. "Our defense fleet has maybe 200 warships. Good ships, but built for defensive patrol. The Zelvari have shown us 50 ships capable of destroying a colony in minutes. Intelligence suggests they have thousands more." "Then we surrender," someone said quietly. "No." The voice came from the back of the chamber. An older woman in a simple gray uniform stepped forward. Elena had never seen her before. She wore no rank insignia. "No," the woman repeated. "We don't surrender. We've been preparing for something like this. We just hoped we'd never need to use it." General Park looked uncomfortable. "Director Zhao, that project was supposed to remain classified." Director Zhao smiled grimly. "The Zelvari made their choice when they murdered our people. Now, we make ours. It's time to wake up the Thunder Soul." Elena felt a chill run down her spine. Something in the way Zhao said those words made her think of old Earth legends. Thunder and souls. Lightning and vengeance. "What's the Thunder Soul?" Elena asked. Director Zhao looked at her with eyes that had seen terrible things and made terrible decisions. "Hope, Commander. The Thunder Soul is our hope, and it's going to be the Zelvari's worst nightmare." The transport ship carried Elena Vasquez deeper into the outer solar system than she'd ever been. Past Neptune. Past Pluto. Out into the Kuiper Belt where ice and rocks drifted in the cold darkness. She sat with 50 other officers, all summoned by classified orders. None of them knew why. Director Zhao stood at the front of the transport. "What you're about to see has been humanity's greatest secret for 30 years. We built it, hoping we'd never need it. The Zelvari made sure we do." The transport rounded a massive asteroid, and Elena's breath caught in her throat. A shipyard floated in space. But it was like no shipyard she'd ever seen. It was enormous, stretching for dozens of kilometers. Construction platforms, manufacturing stations, and in the center, held by massive docking clamps. No, not just a ship, a weapon, a statement, a promise of violence. The Thunder Soul was 12 kilometers long. Its hull was midnight black with lines of electric blue energy pulsing across the surface like lightning frozen in metal. The shape reminded Elena of ancient Earth predators. Sleek, angular, built for killing. Weapons bristled from every surface. The engines at the rear glowed with power that made Elena's skin tingle even through the transport's windows. "My God," someone whispered behind her. A man in a white coat appeared on the transport's view screen. He looked tired, like he hadn't slept in days, but his eyes burned with pride. "I'm Dr. James Chen, lead architect of Project Ragnarok. Welcome to humanity's response to an uncaring universe." The transport docked, and Elena followed the others into the shipyard. Dr. Chen met them in person, leading them through corridors toward the Thunder Soul's docking port. 30 years ago, after the Mars Rebellion, Earth's leaders asked a question, Chen explained as they walked. If humanity ever faced an overwhelming threat, could we survive? We decided to build insurance. One ship with technology so advanced, it could face an entire fleet. "One ship?" an officer asked. "Against thousands of Zelvari warships?" Chen smiled. "Wait until you see what she can do." They entered the Thunder Soul through a massive airlock. Inside, the corridors were wide and lined with panels that glowed with soft blue light. Elena touched a wall and jerked her hand back. The metal felt warm, almost alive. "The hull is made from collapsed matter," Chen said. "Denser than anything natural. It can take hits that would vaporize normal ships. The quantum displacement drives don't just move through space. They fold it. The ship can be in two places at once if needed. And the gravitic lances. He paused dramatically. They tear reality itself. Elena tried to understand what that meant and failed. Chen led them to the bridge. It was circular, with 300 stations arranged in rings around a central command chair. Above them, a dome showed space in all directions. But the most striking feature was the web of glowing threads that connected every station to the chair. Neural sync combat system, Chen said quietly. Every engineer, every gunner, every pilot connects their mind to the Thunder Soul. You think together. React together. Fight as one organism. That sounds dangerous, Elena said. It is, Chen admitted. But it's also why this ship can do impossible things. 300 minds working as one. Faster than any computer. A voice spoke from the command chair. She's beautiful, isn't she? Elena turned. A man sat in the chair, running his hands over the armrests like he was greeting an old friend. He was maybe 45, with gray hair and scars on his face. He wore a captain's uniform but carried himself like a soldier who'd seen too many battles. Captain Marcus Reeves, Chen introduced. Best combat officer humanity has ever produced. Winner of the Mars Rebellion. He's going to command the Thunder Soul. Reeves stood and looked at each of them. His eyes were hard, but not cold. Tired, but not defeated. I'm going to be honest with you. This mission is going to be brutal. The Zelvari think they can attack humanity without consequences. We're going to teach them otherwise. Some of us won't come back. But if we do this right, we'll save billions of human lives. What's the mission? Someone asked. Simple, Reeves said. We're going to find the Zelvari Armada, and we're going to break them so badly that no one ever threatens humanity again. Over the next 3 days, Elena and the other officers went through crew selection. Only 300 people would serve on the Thunder Soul. Each one was tested, evaluated, and integrated into the neural sync system. Elena found herself assigned as tactical officer. Her experience surviving the new Reykjavik attack made her valuable. The sync training was the hardest thing Elena had ever done. She sat at her station, a neural crown on her head, and felt the ship's thoughts mixing with her own. At first, it was overwhelming. She could feel the engines like her own heartbeat, sense the weapons like extensions of her arms. But slowly, she learned to flow with it instead of fighting it. On the third day, Captain Reeves ordered a full crew sync test. All 300 officers connected at once. Elena gasped as their minds merged. She could feel everyone. The pilot's reflexes, the engineer's knowledge, the gunner's precision, and underneath it all, Captain Reeves' iron will holding them together. This is what we are now, Reeves's voice echoed in all their minds. Not 300 individuals. One weapon. One purpose. The Zelvari wanted a war. We're going to give them one they'll never forget. The docking clamps released. The Thunder Soul drifted free of the shipyard for the first time. Elena felt the ship come alive around her. Through the neural link, she experienced the first firing of the quantum drives. Space folded. The ship didn't move through it. Space moved around the ship. They accelerated toward the edge of the solar system. Director Zhao's voice came over the communications channel. Thunder Soul. This is Earth Command. You have authorization to engage the Zelvari with extreme prejudice. Show them what happens when they mistake our patience for weakness. Captain Reeves sat forward in his command chair. Through the neural link, Elena felt his determination. His anger at what happened to New Reykjavik. His absolute refusal to let it happen again. All stations report ready, Reeves said aloud. Elena checked her tactical systems. Weapons charged. Shields online. Targeting systems active. Tactical ready, sir. One by one, the other stations reported. When all 300 voices had confirmed, Reeves smiled grimly. Then let's go remind the galaxy why you don't pick fights with humans. The Thunder Soul jumped to faster than light speed. Not toward Earth's colonies. Not toward safety. Toward the Zelvari Dominion. Toward war. And for the first time since watching New Reykjavik burn, Elena Vasquez felt something other than grief. She felt hope and rage, and the absolute certainty that the Zelvari were about to learn a very expensive lesson about humanity. The Thunder Soul didn't charge straight into battle. Captain Reeves had other plans. "We're one ship," he told his crew during their first strategy meeting. "If we fight their entire armada at once, we might win. But we'd take damage. Maybe fatal damage. So instead, we're going to break them piece by piece. Make them afraid. Make them doubt. Then, when they're scared and scattered, we'll finish it." Elena understood the strategy, but it felt wrong. "Sir, every day we wait is another day they might attack Earth." Reeves looked at her with those tired eyes. "They won't attack yet. They gave us 10 days, remember? They're arrogant. They think we're going to surrender. That arrogance is a weapon we can use." The first target was a Zelvari supply convoy. 6 transport ships carrying food, fuel, and ammunition to the forward fleet. They traveled through empty space with only 2 escort cruisers for protection. The Thunder Soul appeared without warning. One moment, empty space. The next, 12 kilometers of human fury dropping out of quantum displacement right beside the convoy. Elena felt the neural sync activate. 300 minds merged into one. She experienced the battle from every angle at once. Through the pilot's eyes, she saw the Zelvari cruisers turn in surprise. Through the gunners' targeting systems, she locked onto vulnerable points in their hulls. Through the engineers' sensors, she felt the Thunder Soul's power building. "Fire," Reeves said quietly. The gravitic lances activated. Elena had read the technical specifications, but experiencing them through the neural link was different. The weapons didn't shoot projectiles or energy beams. They created concentrated gravity fields that warped space itself. When they hit the Zelvari cruisers, the ships folded inward, like paper being crumpled. The escorts died in seconds. The transport ships tried to run. The Thunder Soul's point defense systems tracked them, destroying their engines with surgical precision. None of the transports exploded. Reeves wanted them disabled, not destroyed. "Stop shooting," Reeves ordered. Then he spoke to Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka, their communications officer. "Yuki, send them the message." Yuki was a small woman with sharp eyes who'd studied alien languages at university. She'd learned to speak Zelvari perfectly over the past 3 days. She activated the communication channel and spoke in the grinding, clicking language of the enemy. "Zelvari vessels, this is the human warship Thunder Soul. We are recording this encounter. Your armada murdered 3,000 of our people. Farmers, children, teachers. You called it conquest. We call it murder. Now you will learn what humanity becomes when you force us to remember our capacity for war." The message was being recorded on every Zelvari ship's black box. When the survivors were found, they would carry that message back to their fleet. The Thunder Soul jumped back into quantum space, vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. Total engagement time was 7 minutes. Over the next 5 days, the Thunder Soul struck 7 more targets. Each attack followed the same pattern. Appear without warning. Destroy the escorts. Disable the primary targets. Send a message. Disappear. The Zelvari military network started buzzing with panic. Elena monitored their communications through captured data. The aliens were calling the Thunder Soul a ghost ship. A demon. Some Zelvari captains refused to travel without triple escorts. Others demanded to be reassigned away from the front lines. "It's working," Elena reported to Reeves. "They're scared." "Good," Reeves said. "Fear makes people make mistakes." But the hunting campaign was taking its toll on the human crew too. The neural sync sessions left everyone exhausted. Connecting 300 minds was like running a marathon with your brain. After each battle, The crew would disconnect, and half of them would collapse from mental fatigue. Elena found herself sitting in the mess hall at odd hours, too tired to sleep. Other crew members did the same. They'd share coffee and talk quietly about home, about the people they were fighting for. A young engineer named Torres sat down across from Elena one night. He was maybe 22, with hands that always had grease under the nails. "My sister lived on New Reykjavik," he said quietly. "She was a teacher. 3rd grade. Elena felt her chest tighten. "I'm sorry. Maria always said humans were better than violence," Torres continued. "She believed we could talk our way through any problem. Make friends with anyone." He looked at his hands. "Torres, I keep wondering if she'd be disappointed in me, in what we're doing." Elena thought about that. "I think your sister would understand that sometimes peace has to be defended. We didn't start this war, but we're going to finish it, so no one else loses their sister." Torres nodded slowly. Yeah, I guess you're right." On the 6th day, Dr. Chen called Elena to the engineering deck. He looked worried, which was never a good sign. "The ship is doing something I didn't predict," he said, pulling up holographic displays. "What do you mean?" Elena asked. "The neural sync system is learning," Chen explained. "Every time you all connect, the Thunder Soul gets a little better at understanding human thought. It's like she's becoming aware. Is that dangerous?" "I don't know," Chen admitted. "The ship isn't conscious. Not really. But she's starting to anticipate what the crew needs. Yesterday, the point defense systems activated 3 seconds before the gunners requested them. The ship knew what was needed before we asked." Elena felt a chill. The Thunder Soul was learning to think like a human. On the 8th day, everything changed. The Zelvari stopped running. Admiral Kreshthar, the alien who'd ordered New Reykjavik's destruction, sent a message on all channels. The Thunder Soul intercepted it. Kreshthar appeared on the screen, his scorpion-like body radiating rage. "Humans, you hide like cowards. You strike and run like petty raiders. This is not war. This is embarrassment. I, Admiral Kreshthar, challenge you. The Zelvari Grand Armada gathers at the Helvax Nebula. 300 warships. Come face us directly, or we will consider this your surrender and proceed to burn Earth." The message ended. The bridge went silent. Finally, someone asked, "Is he serious? 300 ships?" Reeves leaned back in his command chair. Through the neural link, Elena could feel him thinking, calculating, planning. He's serious. And he's desperate. We've hurt him badly enough that he's willing to risk everything on one big battle. Can we win? Elena asked. Coming time. Coming time. Coming time. Coming time. Reeves smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. There's only one way to find out. Set course for the Helvax Nebula. Maximum speed. Reeves smiled. Reeves smiled. Sir. Yuki spoke up from communications. Shouldn't we call for backup? Earth's defense fleet would take 3 weeks to get into position, Reeves interrupted. By then, Kreshthar might change his mind and scatter his forces again. No. This is our chance. One battle. Winner takes everything. Elena felt fear mixing with determination through the neural link. The crew was scared. But they were also ready. They'd come this far. They'd hurt the enemy. Now it was time to finish it. The Thunder Soul jumped to quantum speed, racing toward the Helvax Nebula. Toward 300 enemy warships. Toward the battle that would decide humanity's future. Elena checked her tactical systems one more time. Weapons ready. Shields charged. Targeting computers calibrated. She looked around the bridge at her crewmates. At Torres, who fought for his dead sister. At Yuki, who'd learned to speak the enemy's language to send messages of defiance. At Reeves, who carried the weight of 300 lives on his shoulders. They were ready. And soon, The Zelvari would wish they'd never heard of humanity. The Helvax Nebula was beautiful and deadly. Clouds of radiation-saturated gas glowed purple and red against the darkness of space. 300 Zelvari warships waited in formation at the nebula's edge. The largest fleet humanity had ever faced. They're positioned well, Elena observed, studying her tactical display. They're using the nebula as a shield. We'd have to fly through that radiation to reach them. Captain Reeves sat motionless in his command chair. Through the neural link, Elena could feel him analyzing the battlefield with a tactician's mind. That's what Kresh Thar thinks. He believes we'll have to charge through the nebula and arrive weak and damaged. But he's thinking conventionally. The Thunder Soul doesn't do conventional. Seer? Elena asked. We're going to drop right in the middle of them, Reeves said calmly. The bridge went silent. Finally, the pilot spoke carefully. Captain, quantum displacement that close to so many ships. If we miscalculate by even a kilometer, we could materialize inside one of their hulls. Then don't miscalculate, Reeves said. All hands, prepare for combat synchronization. Full neural sync in 30 seconds. Elena put on her neural crown. Around the bridge, 300 crew members did the same. She felt the connection beginning. Minds reaching out and touching. Merging. Becoming something greater than individual consciousness. The Thunder Soul's awareness flooded through her. She felt the ship's weapons like her own muscles. The shields became her skin. The quantum drives were her heart, beating with contained power. And underneath it all, she felt the ship itself. Dr. Chen had been right. The Thunder Soul had learned. It knew its crew. Knew what they needed. It was ready. Sync at maximum, someone reported. But Elena barely heard with her physical ears. She heard it through the neural link. A thought shared among 300 minds operating as one. Target coordinates locked. Elena heard herself say, though she wasn't sure if she'd spoken aloud or thought it through the link. Quantum displacement in 3, 2, 1. Now, space folded. The Thunder Soul disappeared from one point in space and appeared in another. Not near the Zelvari fleet. Not approaching it. Inside it. Right in the center of 300 enemy warships. For 1 second, everything froze. The Zelvari had expected the human ship to come from outside. Had positioned their weapons facing outward. Now their enemy was in their midst, and they were pointing their guns at each other. Elena felt Captain Reeves' will through the neural link. One word, one command. Fire. The Thunder Soul became a storm. Gravitic lances shot out in every direction. The nearest Zelvari cruisers folded inward, crushed by artificial gravity. The Thunder Soul spun, its point defense systems creating walls of light that incinerated incoming missiles. The quantum drives pulsed, and the ship seemed to be in multiple places at once, appearing and disappearing faster than the Zelvari could track. Through the neural link, Elena experienced the battle from every angle. She felt the pilot dodging between enemy ships, felt the gunners targeting vulnerable spots, felt the engineers managing power distribution across the ship's massive systems. 300 minds, thinking faster than any computer. The Zelvari responded with overwhelming firepower. Energy beams hammered into the Thunder Soul's shields. Missiles exploded against the hull. The collapsed matter armor held. But Elena could feel the ship taking damage. Hull breaches in sections C and G. Shield generators straining under the assault. Then, the first crew member died. Elena felt it through the neural link. A hull breach in engineering. Engineer Martinez had been trying to seal a damaged conduit when atmosphere explosively decompressed. For 1 terrible second, Elena experienced his death through the neural connection. Then his presence simply vanished from the shared consciousness. More deaths followed. A missile got past the point defense systems and detonated near the starboard weapons array. 5 gunners died instantly. Elena felt each one disappear from the neural link like lights going out. Hull integrity at 70%. Someone reported through the link. shields failing in sections 4 and 9, came another thought. But the Zelvari were suffering worse. 40 of their ships were already destroyed. 70 more were damaged and limping away. The Thunder Soul was hurt, but it was winning. Admiral Kreshthar's flagship moved to engage directly. It was twice the size of any other Zelvari ship, bristling with weapons. Through the neural link, Elena felt Reeves focus their collective attention on this single target. That's their leader, Reeves thought to them all. Take him down, and the rest will break. The Thunder Soul and Kreshthar's flagship circled each other like ancient predators. Both ships were damaged. Both were desperate. The Zelvari admiral fired everything he had. Energy beams, missiles, particle cannons. The Thunder Soul's shields collapsed completely on the port side. Atmosphere vented from a dozen hull breaches. Engineer Rodriguez felt it through the neural link. The main power conduit was failing. If it went, the quantum drives would shut down. They'd be trapped here, unable to escape. She was the closest crew member. She ran toward the conduit even as warning alarms screamed. Elena felt Rodriguez's determination through the link. Felt her manually rerouting power around the damaged systems. The radiation levels in that compartment were lethal. Rodriguez knew she had 30 seconds before her body shut down. She used all 30 seconds. Her hands moving with practiced precision even as her body failed. Power restored. Rodriguez thought to them all. Then her presence vanished from the neural link. The sacrifice bought them the seconds they needed. The Thunder Soul's quantum drives surged with power. The ship didn't just dodge. It moved through space like a knife, appearing behind Kreshthar's flagship before the Zelvari could turn. Fire everything, Reeves commanded. Every weapon the Thunder Soul had left fired at once. Gravitic lances, particle beams, kinetic missiles. The concentrated firepower hit Kreshthar's flagship like the wrath of an angry god. The enemy ship's shields failed. Its hull cracked. Secondary explosions rippled across its surface. Through the visual feed, Elena saw Kresthar on his bridge, his multiple eyes wide with disbelief. The alien who'd burned New Reykjavik, who'd murdered 3,000 people and called humans insects. He was screaming orders, but it was too late. The flagship split in half. Both pieces tumbled through space, fires burning in the vacuum before oxygen ran out. The remaining Zelvari fleet saw their admiral die. They broke. Some tried to run. Others surrendered. The Thunder Soul didn't pursue. The ship hung in space, damaged and bleeding atmosphere, but victorious. Slowly, the neural sync began to disconnect. 300 minds becoming 300 individuals again. Elena gasped as her own consciousness separated from the ship. Around the bridge, crew members collapsed in their chairs, exhausted beyond measure. Captain Reeves stood on shaking legs. Damage report. The numbers came in slowly. 83 crew members dead. Hull integrity at 40%. Shields completely offline. 1 quantum drive, damaged but functional. Life support failing in multiple sections. They had won. But God, the price had been high. Send a message to the remaining Zelvari ships, Reeves said quietly. Tell them to return to their space. Tell them humanity is willing to forgive, but not to forget. If they ever threaten us again, there won't be warnings. Yuki sent the message in perfect Zelvari. Then she started crying. Around the bridge, others joined her. They'd won the battle. But 83 friends weren't coming home. Elena looked at the tactical display showing the wreckage of 300 Zelvari ships. All that destruction. All those deaths. And she thought about the 3,000 people on New Reykjavik who died without even knowing war was coming. It's done, she whispered. It's finally done. The Thunder Soul turned slowly toward home. Toward Earth. Toward the long journey back, carrying both victory and grief in equal measure. The Thunder Soul limped into Earth's solar system 3 weeks after the Battle of Helvax Nebula. The mighty warship that had left Earth looked different now. Its midnight black hull was scarred with weapons impacts. Entire sections were sealed off, too damaged to repair in space. Blue energy still pulsed through its systems, but weaker now. Tired. The journey home had been quiet. 217 survivors moved through the ship like ghosts, avoiding the sections where friends had died. Elena walked past engineering every day and remembered Rodriguez, who'd sacrificed herself to save them all. Torres worked silently at his station, sometimes staring at nothing, probably thinking about his sister on New Reykjavik. Captain Reeves never left the bridge. He slept in his command chair when he slept at all. Through the remaining neural link connection they maintained for ship operations, Elena could feel his grief. He'd commanded 300 people into battle and brought back 217. The weight of that sat on him like a physical thing. Earth's entire defense fleet came out to escort them home. Hundreds of ships formed an honor guard. As they passed, each ship's crew lined their observation decks, saluting. Elena watched through the view screen and felt tears on her face. Director Zhao's voice came over the communication channel. Thunder Soul, this is Earth Command. Welcome home. You did what everyone said was impossible. You saved us all. Reeves's voice was rough when he replied. We paid the price. Director. 83 good people. I need to talk to their families. You will, Zhao promised. But first, let your crew rest. You've earned it. The Thunder Soul docked at the main orbital station. Medical teams rushed aboard, treating injuries that had been bandaged with emergency supplies. Engineers swarmed over the damaged sections, already planning repairs. But the first people who came aboard weren't doctors or technicians. They were families. Elena stood in the docking bay and watched Torres reunite with his parents. The young engineer fell into their arms, crying like a child. All around her, similar scenes played out. Joy mixed with grief. Relief mixed with sorrow for those who hadn't returned. Dr. Chen wasn't there to greet them. Elena had known that. But seeing his empty lab still hurt. The old scientist had died in a hull breach, staying at his station to keep the quantum drive stable even as the compartment decompressed. His last thought through the neural link had been satisfaction that his ship was fighting well. Earth erupted in celebration. Every city held parades. Every news channel showed footage of the battle, recorded by the Thunder Soul's cameras. Humanity had faced the Zelvari Dominion, and won. The aliens who'd thought humans were weak had learned otherwise, but the victory had consequences far beyond humanity's borders. The Zelvari Dominion collapsed within months. The species who'd ruled 600 worlds through fear had been broken by a single human ship. Their subject species saw the opportunity and took it. Rebellions erupted across the Dominion. Within a year, the 600-world empire had fragmented into dozens of independent systems. Elena got promoted to captain and given command of her own ship. The first thing she did was request a mission to New Reykjavik. The colony's ruins still orbited their star, burned domes, silent and empty. She took a shuttle down to the surface with a case of 3,000 stones. One for each person who'd died. She placed them in a circle where the main dome had been, speaking each name she could remember. Maria Torres, the teacher. The Chen family, farmers. Little Sam Rodriguez, who'd been 8 years old and wanted to be a pilot. We did it, Elena said to the empty ruins. We stopped them. You didn't die for nothing. I promise you that. Back on Earth, Reeves got promoted to admiral. He didn't want the rank. Told them he was a ship captain, not a desk officer. But humanity needed him. The galaxy had changed, and someone had to help navigate the new reality. That reality arrived in the form of delegations from former Zelvari subject species. 50 different races, all asking the same question. Would humanity accept them as allies? The Confederation Council debated for weeks. Some wanted to reject the offers, keep humanity isolated and safe. Others argued that humanity had proven its strength. Now, it was time to prove its wisdom. In the end, they created the Galactic Coalition. Any species that wanted peace and mutual defense could join. No empires, no subjugation. Just independent systems working together to prevent what happened to New Reykjavik from happening to anyone else. The Thunder Soul became the Coalition's flagship. Its scars were repaired, but deliberately left visible. The new crew included not just humans, but representatives from a dozen species. They all learned to use the neural sync system, creating something unprecedented. Different species, different thoughts, all working together as one. Elena visited the Thunder Soul one last time before taking command of her own vessel. The ship felt different now. Still powerful, but gentler somehow. The neural link touched her mind and she felt recognition. The Thunder Soul remembered her, remembered all of them who'd fought together. "Take care of the new crew," Elena whispered, touching the ship's wall. "Protect them the way you protected us." She felt the ship's acknowledgement, a warm presence in her mind. Then the connection faded, and she was alone with her thoughts. In the shipyards over Mars, 3 more Thunder-class battleships took shape. The Worldbreaker, the Storm Chaser, the Valkyrie's Wrath. Each one carried improvements based on lessons learned in battle. Each one would serve as both shield and sword for the Coalition. Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge of the Thunder Soul, looking at the fleet assembling around Earth. Dozens of species, hundreds of ships, all working together. He thought about the price humanity had paid to reach this moment. 83 crew members, 3,000 colonists. All those lives spent buying a chance at peace. "Admiral," his communications officer called. "We're receiving a transmission from the former Zelvari space. They want to join the Coalition. They're asking for humanity's forgiveness." Reeves thought about Admiral Kreshthar, burning worlds and calling humans insects. He thought about the Zelvari fleet, broken and scattered. He thought about what his crew would want him to say. "Tell them yes," Reeves said finally. "Tell them the Coalition accepts all species that choose peace over conquest. But also, tell them this: humanity forgives, but humanity remembers. We'll defend any Coalition member with the same fury we defended ourselves. Make sure they understand that." The message was sent, and across the galaxy, species who'd once feared the Zelvari now whispered a new name: humanity. The species that had been patient and peaceful until they couldn't be. The species that had built a ship called Thunder Soul and used it to break an empire. Years passed. The Thunder Soul and its sister ships patrolled Coalition space, ensuring peace. Elena commanded her own vessel, exploring new systems and making first contact with species that had never known other intelligent life existed. Torres became chief engineer on the Worldbreaker, channeling his grief into creation instead of destruction. Admiral Reeves eventually retired, too tired to continue serving. He spent his final years on Earth, writing letters to the families of the 83 crew members who'd died, telling them stories about their loved ones, making sure they knew their sacrifices had meaning. He died peacefully in his sleep at age 72. The Thunder Soul, somehow aware through the neural link that connected all its former crew members, dimmed its running lights for exactly 7 minutes, the time of their first attack together. Elena attended the funeral in full dress uniform. She was gray-haired now, a respected admiral herself, but she still remembered being a terrified commander, watching New Reykjavik burn. Remembered the first time she'd felt the Thunder Soul's awareness touch her mind. Remembered Rodriguez and Chen and Martinez and all the others who'd given everything. After the funeral, Elena took a transport to New Reykjavik one final time. The colony had been rebuilt. New domes glowed on the surface. New families lived there. Children played in parks under alien stars, never knowing how close they'd come to never existing. But Elena knew. She touched the memorial stone that listed 3,000 names. "We kept our promise," she said. "We made sure it never happened again." And across the galaxy, on 600 worlds that had once been enslaved, People looked up at the stars and knew they were protected. Not by an empire, not by conquest, but by a coalition that had learned the most important lesson: peace was worth fighting for. Humanity had proven it was capable of terrible violence when necessary. But they'd also proven something more important: that violence should be the last resort. That forgiveness was possible. That different species could work together. The Thunder Soul still patrols the stars. Its crew changes over the years, but the ship remains. A promise carved in collapsed matter and powered by quantum drives. A reminder that humanity will always offer friendship first, but also a warning: cross humanity and you'll learn why they named their warship Thunder Soul. Because when humans roar, even stars take notice. And the echoes of that thunder carry a simple message across the endless dark: never again. We will never let it happen again.